Hello everyone, welcome back to another Commander review for Magic the Gathering. Today is the start of the Apocalypse set, and it's going to be a very short set because there are only 2 commanders. So, let's get right on into it. Today, the first commander we're going to talk about from Apocalypse is Cromat, which is... oh my goodness, you'd think I have these lists ready in advance, but alas, I'm not. There we go. Cromat is a legendary illusion creature. It is a 5/5 and it costs Wooburg or 1 of each color to play. And then Cromat has this very awesome ability. If I am reading this correctly, it's all the enemy combinations of mana. Yeah, these are all the enemy combinations of mana. So, Azorius, 1 white, 1 black, or that's Orzhov. 1 white, 1 black will destroy target creature blocking or blocked by Cromat. For Izzet, or blue and red, Cromat gains flying until end of turn. For Golgari, black and green, regenerate Cromat. And if you don't know what regenerate is, it prevents the destruction of Cromat, and it taps it afterwards, after that prevention. And that includes like dying to damage as well. For Boros, or red and white, Cromat gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and that one is pretty powerful. That goes right up there with the Orzhov one, because the more creatures that block you, the more mana you put into it, the more creatures you can destroy. And this one, the more mana you can put into it, the bigger Cromat gets, which is very fun. And then for Simic, which is green and blue, you get this cool ability to put Cromat on top of its owner's library. So it does have its own form of protection in a unique way. 2 forms of protection. You can protect it from being destroyed, and you can protect it from being targeted in the first place, or board wiped in the first place, which is very powerful. Very powerful. This has 2 forms of protection. Very cool card, and we're going to get right on into it. And there's a lot about this card, but we're only going to talk about a few options. No card rulings for Cromat. Very simple, very straightforward. It does those 5 things, and that's it. A card I chose to synergize with it is Overprotect, because it already has forms of protection. Why don't we just have a backup form of protection in our hand? This card is going to get targeted quite a bit, so you want to protect it as much as possible. The deck idea that I am going to be building around with Cromat is a Lands Matters deck, and specifically I'm going to build a Gate deck. And the reason why I'm building a Gate deck is because my alternate win con is going to be Maze's End. And with having all this variety of mana in play, we're going to be able to use Cromat's ability all over the place, which is going to be very, very fun. A popular deck idea on EDH Rec is the Mutate mechanic. And if you don't remember or know what Mutate is, essentially you can play certain creatures that have the Mutate ability, like Gemrazor. And if you pay its Mutate cost, it's almost like enchanting a creature, but instead you choose if Gemrazor goes on top or underneath the creature. And what you're doing is you are putting Gemrazor, let's say we put Gemrazor underneath the Cromat. You pay the Mutate cost, we're choosing to put Gemrazor underneath the Cromat. So what happens is Cromat will stay Cromat. It will stay a legendary illusion. It will keep its 5/5 stats. However, it will gain its 5 abilities, plus it will now have Reach, Trample, and whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. And the reverse of this is true. If you pay the Mutate cost and you choose to put Gemrazor on top of Cromat, the card is now a Gemrazor, which is a beast, and it's a 4/4. It has its written ability here, Reach, Trample, and its cool Destroy target removal. but then it also has the 5 activated abilities of Cromat as well. So Mutate is almost like enchanting a creature, but it's enchanting a creature with another creature. That creature cannot be human, so bear that in mind. You cannot mutate on a human, but you're simply adding the text of a card onto whatever you are mutating. Whether you put that card on top or the bottom is up to you, but either way, the abilities will be shared throughout the stack of cards, which is very fun. Very cool deck. And then lastly, I went on a weird tangent with this card, and part of that I will be explaining in the future, but it does have to do with my own crossover concept ideas that I am doing, where I am making custom Magic the Gathering cards that are themed around video games that I play for my channel. So stay tuned for those, because those are going to be coming out, and part of that concept does influence this janky deck idea. Cromat is 5 colored. Cromat does provide 1 pip of each color of mana, and I thought it would be fun to do a Devotion tribe as a janky deck idea for Cromat. Now, in the grand scheme of things, if you were going to do a truly 5-colored Devotion deck, I think Progenitus would be a better option, even though it costs 10 mana to play. That 10 mana is 2 pips of each color, which is very fun, which is a little bit better than just 1 pip. The other thing that I have a small complaint about is when I was thinking of this deck idea, I tried looking on EDHREC for this deck idea to get influence and inspiration, and what you're looking at here is the basics of a truly Devotion deck, where it cares about the devotion you have. The problem I ran into was when I was looking up Devotion theme on EDHREC, it was essentially just God Tribal again. So there's like God Tribal that cares about devotion, and then there's God Tribal that doesn't care about devotion. And that was the only difference between the Devotion theme and God Tribal. So I was a little let down by that. I don't know why that is what's so popular for players to do as far as Devotion, is just play the Theros God Tribal. So I had to go a little bit on the look and scour the deep caverns and annals of MTG's Theros history. But I was able to pull up some cards, and you can do a 5-colored Devotion deck. Now this is going to be very janky, very difficult to do, because you're going to want to build your mana base to fit 5 colors, and you're going to want to also be able to build your mana base so you can get as many pips as possible to fill out your devotion. Now the one thing I will say that you could do is fill your deck with big, powerful cards that want high devotion counts, like Abhorrent Overlord. Acolyte's Renewal does some pretty awesome protection stuff. And the way that you fill your devotion, those pips, is by playing hybrid mana cards. Cards that cost, even a card that costs 1 pip, but that 1 pip is a Rakdos pit, so you could play red or black mana into it. That could help towards your devotion count, because those are going to each be, that's going to be a pip that's a red and a black. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Let me know in the comments below if I'm making a mistake there, but I think hybrid mana does work towards counting your devotion in that fun, interesting way. So again, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. And this is a very silly deck idea, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. And that is going to do it for Cromat, who can do anything, but mostly just sits around. The downside with Cromat, in my personal opinion, is I know Cromat is a very popular commander. People build tons of decks around it, which is why it has the S tier. But sometimes the commander, Cromat in this case, is just put in as a placeholder because it has all 5 colors in it. So a person can play a 5-colored commander deck with all the favorite cards they want. and they don't ever care about playing Cromat, which to me is kind of a flavor fail. For me, the whole point of Commander is to build around your commander. I have nothing against players who build this way, where they build a fun deck and then they just put Cromat as the commander just so they can have the 5 colors. That's fine. But as far as me and my deck building is concerned, I prefer to build a deck around the commander, because that's why the format is called that. It's called Commander. So that's my only thing against this card, is it's very popular, but most of those decks are just, it wants Cromat as the commander, but it never plans on playing Cromat and using Cromat. So, a little sad there, but very popular card. S tier, I think it had like 11 deck ideas, plus the ones that I was thinking or coming up with for it. So, very fun card, very cool. And of course, it does fit all 5 colors for your deck, so you can build any deck you want around it. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything I missed. Definitely let me know about the Devotion deck idea, what you guys think about that, and if hybrid mana could be used in that capacity for a Devotion deck. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!